Hello everyone. In this video I will show you how to build a Spring Boot application in which you can authenticate, register new user, and use this app as gateway. So let me show you how it works. We have two applications. It's two modules, user auth and user exchange token. So user exchange token is a simple application just to show you that we have some sample page which maps on API sample. It uses port 8081 and it is Thymeleaf enabled. So when I use sample page, it renders to sample page HTML, and dependencies are Spring Boot Starter Web and Thymeleaf. With Postman we can check how it works. Just 81 API sample. So just send request. I will see this sample page. It is just direct access to this page. When we use another application as gateway, user auth, it is proxy proxy our request to the API sample, and we have same result. So let me show. We change the port and URL and press send, and we see that we have authorization token here, and if we will delete it, so we will have unauthorized response. If we add the token, so we have a sample page activated. And what else I want to show you? It is OAuth controller with a login page. Just let me show. It's localhost API login. Just simple. Oh, sorry. Register. Uh-oh. Very interesting. Let me check. Oh, sorry, I just forgot to add OAuth to the path. So if we want to register a new user, just add user1 gmail.com. It is Thymeleaf template that is rendered via Spring, and we press register, and we are redirected to the login page, and now we can use user one credentials to log in and get authorization token to use it later in our application. So if we want to access secured endpoints in our application, we just I take this token, and just if we will delete it, it's not work, but if we will add, we can see sample page and 200 OK. So now we are protected with token, and let me show you how does this work. Let me close all tabs just to so let's begin with this controller, and this annotation is required for Thymeleaf to work. REST controller, it won't work with the REST controller, and here we have a login mechanism. It generates token based on authentication. We build authentication with username and password, and here we have token generation. It looks like this, and for token generation is described very good in this article. Let me show you. Wait a minute. Yes, this article is extremely helpful for me because it describes implementation of Spring Security with GVT token, and it is pretty much secured because it uses certificates to encode and decode password, and Nimbus for generating GVT token. So let's go through these settings. So I use these two strings to generate private and public key. I didn't use this one because it generates just the same key as private key, so I don't need it. This is setting part, so I can show you in the application. It is application properties, class path for private key and public key, and user module, and yes, this configuration file, it's record of type record. Here we have a prefix RCA that drive us to this private and public key with appropriate fields. And the user, let me show you user entity. It's somewhere here, up user. So I'm using sequence as ID generator, and mark them username and email fields unique, and also we can see this here. And in flyway migration, these fields are marked unique too. If you need this configuration, you can put on pause and check it out. If you need the configuration, this is POM file with Beam build plugins, and if you want to apply the flyway migration, just you can launch this configuration, just put on pause and check how it could be applied. So this is end file which holds all the environment variables to substitute in configuration files. So let's move on to the app user. So it's simple entity with it's simple entity to save and to retrieve if we need. JSON ignore, yes, it should set it here, not to get password from the database. Anyway, it is encoded with our private key. Let me show you database. It's like user one that we created earlier. It is encoded password. Let me show you the let's go through other settings. So repository, GPA repository, we use find by username method to get user from the repository. Let me show you. It's just pretty the same. Find by email we can add, but it is no need in this method. So auth modules. Auth user, let me show. Auth user, it's just for it is used in auth controller when we get user details, but as you can see, we don't use it in the code later on. And auth user also user repository, and yes, it is used when we map it from app user. So just here we get we load user by username. So we get user from the user repository, then map it to auth user, or throw an exception that app username not found. It load user by name is used internally by Spring. It is user details service, and we can check GPA. Yes, it is here, and it is used in security config when we define authentication manager bean. So we set user details service here, and password encoder, it is bcrypt password encoder, and GVT encoder is here. So these are these rows all user to access these paths in URLs like localhost API auth paths to permit to all users to access this, because we have registration and login page here to allow all users to log in, register, and here we have a register post. Let me show you registration page. It's just a simple form with user, email, password, login page, almost the same, but only username and password, and we submit it and to post it to API auth login, and we have token at the end of this interaction. This is just a secure page. It was created for test. Okay, auth user, and then we have auth service here. I've shown this before. A user repository, when we GPI user details service, when we use user depository to find user by username. Here we have Spring security config. These parts, in these parts, we permit to access all users, and then this part is using GVT token to access, to authenticate, and here it is encoded, here it is decoded, and so on. As you can see, I've changed it a little bit, just not to inject fields. Let me show you security config. It's like this class. I've used Lombok to enable required args constructor to just inject RSI kconfig properties and GPA user detail service here. And then yes, we should add these configuration properties to work to make things work. Then we okay. One moment about user. Not out user, but entity. Users. Okay, users. That was users. Okay, because I name it like user and can't access. That's why I rename it to app user. So user is not allowed. It is reserved word in Postgres or in Spring. So don't use user as table name. Okay, let's move on. And then setting up a controller. It's like login controller where you pass username and password. And for Thymeleaf, as I use Thymeleaf, and it is show form on get API auth login. I show login form that post data to this form. In this way, we can log in any user and get authentication token to use it later in our application. Okay, then this part, Spring security, GVT. Okay, this bin allows us. It not allows. It creates a new user, which credentials we can use later. But as we can have a register endpoint and a register page with these fields, we can create as many users as we want to log into our application. So we doesn't need this bin to be enabled and to create this user each time we launch the application. Okay. So I've also showed you the the token generation, and you can check this repository to the source for the source code. Okay, and also I've used this video from the Dan Vega. He explains a little bit about explains about Spring Gateway, how can we implement it, but this this tutorial was very helpful for me, but I can't use it just right away because I have Spring Security and Spring MVC, Spring Boot MVC enabled, and they become in conflict with Spring Gateway. So the dependencies should be like Spring Cloud Gateway MVC. We should use this dependency to make this process work. And we don't need any settings like to make in properties file additional. I mean, no additional settings to support Spring Cloud Gateway MVC because we use we are setting the controller just inside controller class, which proxy our requests to desired endpoints, and Spring Security secures with GVT token, and we get a response from remote server endpoint, like coded in controller. Also, we can use post request. We can add body to this request. We can execute other methods like delete, patch, put. We can add headers, and anything that almost anything is allowed to do. So I will put all the links to these videos and texts so you can get along with them and understand better. Let me go through these settings quickly. It is Spring data source, username, password, URL for our Postgres database. This setting allows us to validate this shim before start our application. Here we set Postgres dialect. This setting allows us to show SQL requests while in the log, so we can see them in log file. This format SQL as human readable. It's very convenient, I think, to see them in such a way. This is also Postgres related settings, just to tell GPA to use proper dialect and database. So here we have server port specified and include message, error message. It means if there is some error in our request, we will show it, we will see it on the error page. This setting is for private and public key, and Thymeleaf catch to false. It should be that that we change this page and it is reloaded automatically, but for me it doesn't work. I don't know why, but it doesn't work. So I think let me show you logback also. It's just to make log pretty, like with colors, more readable. Application properties here, and POM file, POM XML is look like this. I have multi-module project here. You can just pause and see all the dependencies. And in main POM file we have dependency management where we set Spring Boot starter parent and Spring Cloud dependencies, which Spring version is 3.4.1 and Spring Cloud is 2024.0.0. This dependency management allow us not to set all the versions down to our modules that we use in child modules. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and will allow you to solve your tasks. Have a great day. Thank you very much. Да, все, иду.